Hello, good evening, and welcome to the fifth live show of the Dead Readers League. And tonight we are going to talk about The Lake of Dead Languages by Carol Goodman. But I'm not going to join tonight's discussion, and I'm going to actually give the floor to Eva because she is the head for this month's book of the month. So yeah, goodbye guys, and I do hope that you're going to enjoy tonight's discussion.
Okay, today. Okay, hello everyone. Okay, this is my first time being here, and I don't know. I am actually kind of nervous. I don't know where to start from, but I hope this goes well. So, yeah, let's begin. Okay, I, okay, so when you say well, hi, hello Gigi, hello everyone, hello Rita, hi. Okay,
Yay!
hi, Nita, hello everyone. Okay, and they have been here, okay, and me, finally being here is a big thing. I'm happy that I know. To begin to show, the few things that I want to say first before starting the whole discussion about this book is how like the whole story when we talk about like Dark Academia and the whole vibe of it, we talk about books that make us feel something different from what we usually when we talk about Dark Academia. We somewhere link it to like the classic novels and books, like the whole idea of it. But when I when like actually like started reading Dark Academia, this was actually one of the first books that I read, and this really made me think about the whole like the theme and the whole idea of this aesthetic and this whole stage. So like it was kind of surprising for me. I never expected like this book to take the turns it took. And there were also a few disturbing facts that we have read in the book. And when I finished the book, after everyone finished the book and they started commenting how they have like this disturbing scenes and stuff, I was like, okay, I should have mentioned it before. Like it kept my mind that there were some scenes which were like actually so disturbing. And yeah, but nevertheless, I'm happy that you guys enjoyed it. Or even if you don't, there are few things that you guys have to say about the book, and I just cannot wait to hear it. Yeah, like I'm so happy to hear what all you guys have to say about the book and stuff. So please, like, just go ahead with your opinions and everything. I'm so ready to start it. I'm audible, so like, you guys hear me? Do you guys? Okay, hi. What? Do you? Okay. Yeah.
Yes, sorry. I was trying to check my audio if it was working.
Yeah,
Uh,
I think we're all having audio problems.
yeah,
Yeah, we
Yes,
couldn't
yes.
really understand what you were trying to
could only
say.
catch a little bit.
Okay. Yes, I just want.
Yeah,
Okay.
OMG, you're echoing.
Yeah, your echo's like really loud.
Which is such a shame because you seemed so excited. Like I could feel your
Yeah.
excitement. And
Yeah. Oh, yes, I can write something. Okay.
Wait, huh? Okay. Well, I guess. Okay, I guess I'll
Okay.
start off.
Okay.
Here's the thing. Okay, I read this book a little bit over the month of March, and I got pretty busy, so I wasn't able to go right up into the ending. I'm very close though, and what can I say about it? I actually spoke to Hiba about this like a few, like 2 weeks into March, and I was just like, okay, so I really like the feel of the book. It started off relatively like calm. I think that was what it felt calm on the surface with something brewing in the background. I think that was exactly what I said. And as time went by, as the events transpired, it just built pressure until bam, hit us in the face with all of the details. And although I couldn't remember half of what happened right now as I'm talking, I could just say I could safely say that I really genuinely felt fear as, as time trickled by and stuff started to come into light. I was like, oh my god, don't tell me that I thought it was a ghost. I thought it was supernatural at first, whatever was happening. And then I realized, no, somebody might be doing this. So this person who was behind all of the incidents that is happening now is nothing short of a genius, I would say. So yeah, so that's all I have for now.
It's like, okay, I don't know. I don't know. So one thing I was like, I thought that there was not this book is not educated like on Goodreads. It doesn't have like so many good points. It's like I guess it's rated 3.8 stars or something. And I don't know, like when I read it, I actually I shouldn't go by the opinions of Goodreads and how many stars the book has been rated. But I am really happy that I chose this book. I sometimes like think about I check a book, I see the ratings and I'll be like, okay, yeah, it's not a good book, it's just 3.8 stars or 3.5 stars. But like I was wrong, though I know that I shouldn't go by the opinions, like go by the how much the book is rated. I still when like somewhere back in my mind I had like what if this book is not good enough. But it was actually really good, and I haven't actually read many of the books by the author. This is, I guess, the only book I have read, but I I can't wait to read more. Yeah, I hope that the other books are also good, and I have enough time to read all of them. So yeah,
Yeah, this is also my first book with the by the author, and um I agree. I thought it was like supernatural at first. Like it like it reminded me of Jane Eyre in a way, like because Jane was sort of she kept seeing the woman from the attic. Like it we didn't know that it was an actual woman, right? So it felt like that with this one, yung the with like whoever was doing it is like felt in like you said they felt supernatural, like they felt like they were a ghost, because how else would someone know all of these things, um, and I think this was like such a perfect dark academia book, even if I didn't like
I think I read
yeah, it just like just everything about it is so dark academia, like the setting, the writing style is very beautiful and like flowery, and it's focused on the characters and like this obsession with one person, like in a friend group, like there's this one person that you absolutely love, even though you can't really pinpoint what is it about what it is about them that you love, like that just I
it.
absolutely loved it. um Overall, I think the book had, like, as I said, all of the ingredients of what makes a dark academia book, but I don't know, something about it fell flat for me. um just
I
I don't know what I can't pinpoint what it was. I think the ending is one of the factors. I was a little bit underwhelmed by the ending, but I don't know. I think it was
No,
yeah. Sorry. Okay,
no,
I thought you
nothing.
were
Actually, you are right.
Okay, yeah. I think there was something off about the ending and the pacing, maybe. But overall, it's such a good dark academia book. It has everything that you could want from a dark academia novel, like the love of classics, the mystery, the academic rivalry. It was all there, and I really enjoyed reading it. So thank you for choosing the book, even though the Goodreads rating was kind of low.
As for me, yeah, same with Erica. I really like the ambience of the whole book. It does have everything that you want in a dark academia story. It's it's just so like into the classics, and I love that. And I especially love like when dark academia has like an all girls characters. I love that. It's that like all girls boarding school character. And yeah, the book itself, it has like a really really slow pace, which has a good and a bad side to it. Not gonna lie, mostly bad, because I found myself getting bored, and it took me so long. Like, I guess it took me like 2 weeks to finish the book, but it felt like forever. I was like, is this not over yet? But yeah, there's also a good side to it, which is it makes you anticipate what's gonna happen. And it 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 feels like there's like something festering in the story. There's like something like that's like evil, that's like festering, and like it just like slowly builds up and up. Yeah, and like the suspense is just really strong, and it also like gives you like unreliable narrator vibes as well, which I just love. So yeah, I even though I didn't have like the the absolute like fast paced like gripping time, gripping like read, I still enjoyed the story. I really liked the story. Yeah, I also, like Erica, I felt that the ending was kind of underwhelming, but I guess we can like get to that later on. I don't want to like say all of my thoughts here, but yes, so that's mine.
Yes, okay. Even like I felt because see, the novel has so many secrets opening out. The brother and sister. I won't emulate what all happened because Didi and I guess the other Didi haven't read it. But like so many things were revealed in the book, and it just kept surprising me. But the main reason all of it happened, because of what all of it happened, and the character, the one which is the evil character, the lady, and it ended with her and stuff like that. That was kind of underwhelming for me, and I agree with both of you that I didn't see like because the whole book was having so many like surprises in terms of like mysteries and all. And when it just ended, it was kind of mild in terms of surprises, if that's the right thing to say. Like, it wasn't that shocking or surprising to me. Just like, no, okay, yeah, fine, it happened and all that. And yeah, so by the end of the book, I was like, okay, yeah, this was a good book. It is a very good read. It is a very good dark academia. If somebody wants to like start with the whole genre of dark academia, but like I understand why it is why this book is not compared to the like topmost dark academia books like The Secret History and others, because like I understand the fact why it is not like the best and why it is just like a good book because of the way the book is. It's a good book, but it's not like a very great book due to its certain drawbacks it has. So yeah, it was like, fine. I like reading it, but I also understand the drawbacks of it. So yeah, I especially love the mystery, and also there was this thing I really liked that when uh, the narrator shows the characters, which were the young girls, and they were actually named after like Greek goddesses. That was kind of very interesting to me, and how they were learning the words and spells and stuff. That was kind of interesting, but somewhere also it made me feel like it is just like tone, add sprinkles on the top to make you feel this whole vibe of academia, dark academia. So yeah, that's that.
Yeah, so yeah, I think we all have pretty much the same idea of the book. Yeah, like the writing's beautiful. I mean, that's not something that we can disregard. Like, I mean, I just felt like the execution was like it was too draggy. It was too beautiful that like even the author was like, I don't want to move on. The author was like,
The
I'm really killing this right now.
I mean, so, yeah, the whole idea was just so interesting to me and everything, and just yeah, you're right.
Yeah. So, um, I guess we can move on to the next segment then.
Yes, definitely.
Yeah. Um, what did you guys think of like the characters though? Like, yeah, I guess we can start with Jane, the main character. So, what do you guys
Hmm.
think of Jane?
I mean,
Okay. Wait, sorry, my
okay,
mic is not muted. Um, Actually, I don't really have a very strong opinion of Jane since she is the main character. So we're much stuck inside her head the entire book. Uh, how do I say it? Like she's like a more down-toned version of the book of the character that we last read. The main character of the book we last read. I don't know why she gave me that feeling, except that this time we are in the shoes of somebody who is in the receiving end of the tragedies rather than the person causing the tragedies. And uh, how do I say this? I do remember very starkly at the beginning of the book where she was with her daughter in Heart Lake, and then yung scene that scene where her daughter suddenly makes it on top of one of the rocks, that part, and then shortly after that, I found myself thinking, wow, this is one of probably the wisest things a main character has done for their child is to have them actually be taken away from that place. And I was like saying thank God that she said that she could live with her dad for a while, because at that was the beginning of all of the scary stuff happening. And what else can I say about her is that she felt like a really lonely kid. Am I making sense? She felt like a really lonely person in school, and then she only had two friends. And she said something. Actually, there was one thing I wanted to praise about the book is how it's not about college right now. It's not about university. We're actually in a high school. Am I right to say that we are in a younger part? And I could see how the girls in this story, her even her students, and at some point even herself, that they were very troubled young people. And I really like there was this one sentence that she said, that Jane said, that during when she was 14 and 15, although she did not really go through the experiences of what her peers did, her peers went through, she felt like she was falling asleep, she was a teenager falling asleep, and then suddenly she was an adult with who wasn't so sure what she was doing in life, to be honest. um, yeah, aside from that, she didn't exactly, she had a really strange home life with her mother, who was also both encouraging and then at the same time not mistrustful of their like, well, I don't understand her mom. She's like, okay, do this and do that, and once she succeeds she's just like, what? It's quite confusing, really. And by the end of it, where I stopped at least, I know that she was in a hurry to find something, and all of the secrets finally spilled open into the light, and then suddenly she's the most active character in the story, so running here and there. So yeah.
okay, yes. Was I finished by I just read like Julie said, that we can relate to the like protagonist of the previous novel we read, and the protagonist of this novel feels similar is because both of them are strong women who are kind of like unraveling the secrets in the book and making us understand why the things which are happening around the character, around the protagonist, are happening and why the things are occurring. So yeah, maybe that is because why we can like feel the connection. Other than that, I completely agree with what like Gigi said. Yeah, like she in the when she was a student, there is a drastic difference between when she was a student and later when she becomes as a professor, as a teacher in the same school. It is like they we can feel the change in the personality of both the women. So yeah, that is also there. And I love that how she when she is talking about her age when she was a student, she is like there are like separate feelings in her. There are things she could have done or said or could have been better. And now in the future she talks about it, and this kind of uh, we as we like can relate to about how there are things in our life which we could have changed, or we still think about the friends we don't talk to anymore and stuff like that, and we feel, oh, if you would have done things this way or that way, it could have been better and all. So yeah, I feel that she is relatable somewhat, but also like there are a few, I won't say exactly say drawbacks in her character, but a few things which how should I say like which she could have like done in a better way, or like she could have handled better. So yeah, that's all. Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. I really like Jane, and I like that she's not perfect. There are obvious flaws to her character, and I think I enjoyed it. I think it's fitting also that her name is Jane because she just felt so plain. You know that trope of like a plain Jane. She just felt so plain, and like I I don't really know that much of her. Like I'm not sure if she actually like she doesn't really, it's not explained like even how she looks. I don't think we're told how she looks, and so I think her character is more of what's it called, an audience surrogate, I think. Like we're really just we're not really meant to identify with her. We're kind of She's kind of used to be like that person. We have to put ourselves in her shoes, sort of like that. Like her questions are our questions as well, and so what's happening to her, the way she's reacting to the stuff that's happening to her, we also react in the same way, kind of. I liked her. I agree with you when she sent her child away. I was like, yes, yes, because usually in books, the main character is so stubborn about stuff like that. And they will absolutely fight just to prove that they're right, and like, you know. But she really, she put her child's well-being over her, like being stubborn and stuff, or fighting over her husband. um and it's such a good decision because I don't know how far along you were in Q, but like some really traumatic stuff happened, and I'm scared to think like what would have how it would have affected her child if Olivia was there. There were like stuff was like being given to her like with fake blood and stuff, things like that, and like imagine being a 4-year-old kid and experiencing that. So yeah, I was really happy when she sent her child away. I was like, yes, it's better to protect her. Um, Also, uh, she was kind of like clueless, but I feel like this is probably because I'm reading it, and so I'm able to look at it in a more objective way. And she lived with it, and so she was probably like in denial and gaslighting herself a little bit. But like a lot of the things that happened was so obvious and like really predictable, and like if you don't even have to be like smart, you can just like guess, like think about it for a minute, just start guessing, and eventually you will come to the conclusion. And even if it's not, you know, but she does, I don't know, she just doesn't do that. There's not a lot of in retrospection, or like I don't know, maybe she was really gaslighting herself because a lot of the things were so obvious, and she just doesn't realize it. So that was frustrating because like, girl, girl, like your life and your students' life are in danger. Think, think for a moment, just think, and like look at your past objectively, you know, because people are dying, people are literally dying, and you're sort of just walking along. And ano, parang she's just reminiscing about her past in like a way that's kind of chill, when she should be a lot more um maybe aggressive or something, and proactive about it. But she's just like, okay, and then she lets Dr. Lockhart like walk all over her and choose all of the decisions, and she's like, oh sure, she has the credentials, maybe she really does know what she's talking about, but like, girl, your students are dying. So
Yeah,
yeah.
I agree with everything that you guys have said so far. Yeah, I felt like Jane is like, she was like meant to be a bystander. Like in both timelines, in the old and like the present one, she was pretty much like a bystander who was just kind of thrust into the story where she shouldn't even be like part of in the first place. And like, I think that kind of fits with her character as well, because like right from the beginning, she, you know, she would see like the Heart Lake girls right before she went to Heart Lake, and she has like this idea of these girls being like, oh, boarding school girls with like vests and pleat skirts and stuff like that. And I think part of her wanted to be that, you know. So when she entered Heart Lake and she saw Lucy as like the epitome of what it has to be, what like a Heart Lake girl should look like, that's like she kind of latched onto Lucy. And yeah, I think like right until the present time, she still always had um like this like she idolized Lucy still even to her adulthood. And it was like, I felt like that's probably the reason why she was having a hard time dealing like trying to remember stuff like objectively speaking, because she's still like very biased about Lucy being always right, Lucy being perfect, Lucy would never do this and stuff like that. So I feel like it's some form of PTSD there. Like, how can you not remember if Deirdre, you know, if like Deirdre fell, or or like
Or was
someone tripped her?
murdered.
Right? How do you not remember stuff like that? Like, so there's certainly some kind of PTSD there. If she had only seen some sort of therapist in college, a lot of things would have been sorted out. Which is like a very, I think it's like a consistent thing in like dark academia stuff. If people are so pretentious
They
that
need
they
They
just
want
want,
therapy.
therapy.
they just need therapy.
Just
Fortunately,
therapy.
the psychologist in this book is is CD as well, so I guess she won't ever get that therapy. But
Also,
yeah,
wasn't it mentioned that she actually saw the siblings at the lake go woo down, and then she didn't do anything about it. She was just like,
yeah, it's just, I don't know. It's like her like the way she remembered stuff, I think, was the reason why there are so many plot holes. And like there are so many things that were like rushed in the end. It's like the last like 10% of the book is like just her suddenly remembering things. Like
Yeah.
suddenly realizing things after like
suddenly her
90%
amnesia's gone.
of her just like guessing. So yeah, I mean, Yeah, it's true though. There were multiple times where I forgot that her name is Jane. Like, so sorry. It's the truth. I forgot that her name was Jane. Is
I don't think that they mention it a lot. Like I don't.
Yeah.
I think I actually forgot how many times I actually read her name, but it was quite like it's only a few times I think that that we remember that her name is Jane. Oh
yeah.
my
So
god, kaka stress.
she
Sometimes,
wasn't the most like. Sorry, what?
oh, I was just gonna say, sometimes people would say Jane, and I'd be like, who are they talking about? And it's like, oh, it's
That's
the main character. Like, I
I
forgot
think,
her name.
yeah, I
Also,
think
I
if
am
the book,
impressed. Go ahead, Eva. I'll add to this later.
I think if the book would have been more about the brother and the sister and Lucy and Matt, and if they would have shown their perspective more, it would have become more interesting because I really wanted to know what like they faced all their life and what tragedies they went through because it was like understanding and when reading about it, it feels kind of like really disturbing and traumatic what they would have gone through all their life dealing with the situation and the people around them and what led them to do what they did in the future. So yeah, I think if like rather than jail, I really wanted to know what their opinions are or what they feel about the whole situation. So yeah.
Yeah, I agree. I actually think that Jane's character is probably the reason why the narration, like the writing was so draggy. It's because like her character is so slow.
Just to bounce off what Nika said, no, I am impressed with this woman's ability to remember the weirdest things. There was like this one time where I think it was oh my god, I would only remember pala her students by their like the goddess name thing. See, Vesta was like saying what they were talking about like oh she was so one of them was so tired of hearing her other friend talk about her boyfriend, and she was like I think they were talking about what are women, what a woman without a man is like a fish without a bicycle, something like that. And then suddenly it sparks a memory in Jane, and she was just like, she remembers that time when she was going to go to the ice house and meet Matt and something. And I was like, oh, you're remembering this now? It's like I am impressed. Oh, you can't remember anything else, but you would remember the guy who's already he's gone already. you know, you don't even know why he's gone. I am just oh my god.
It's
Like
like
not
it's
now.
like it's like her memory is it's not like even told. Like usually when you're reading some kind of like mystery, usually when there's like forgotten things, usually they're like remembered fragmented, you know. But hers
Mhm.
weren't fragmented. It was just like her memories are all just in the shallow. Like she like her memories are just shallow and like she doesn't remember like what exactly she was, actually seeing. She was just kind of narrating what happened instead of what she was actually seeing and observing and, understanding of the situation, which I think is the reason why, she was having a hard time accepting that her friend was weird.
For someone who writes journals, she surely couldn't think a lot. Sometimes at some point. I'm just saying, she wrote a lot. It was said that she wrote a lot, right? Surely you would have to write something. You need to think a little bit more inside your head and bring it out. Heck, I don't even know how her missing journal did. It went poof, and then she was just like, eh.
Oh, it's revealed. Oh,
Yeah, don't worry about spoilers, by the way. I don't mind,
okay.
and I might
I
have
guess,
I might have forgotten I read it already or
or like at
something.
this point, you've already predicted it, and you're probably right.
Yep.
Not gonna
I think
lie.
I think it was that I think I was clued in pretty early into the book by the fact that si Candace, what's her last name? Lockhart was the one who took Athena's journals when she disappeared the first time. Yeah, and I was like, mhm.
Lockhart is suspicious.
Yeah,
Yeah,
she
I
is
pretty much
sus.
like predicted the whole ending like by like
Oh my god.
60%. 60% of the story. I was like, this is where it's heading. Yeah, Erica and I were talking about the book last night, I think, and like the few days before pa. And like we have been raving about okay, so two characters, which is I guess we already talked about it, Dr. Lockhart and Roy. Okay, so that's the question
Mhm.
right now. What do you guys think of those two characters? I feel like in the adult period, those two were like the biggest adult um supporting characters, I guess. So yes, that's my question.
Mm, always thought that the psychologist was scary. Like, there were times when we first met her, we knew her as somebody who was very prim and proper, and something about her pristine, the way she was so pristinely like what do you call this, introduced, just made me really suspicious. Like no one is that prim and proper without hiding something type of thing. And I thought, and then Jane was like, yeah, she really cares about the students. I was like, does she? Ah, does she really? Huh? Because like it doesn't feel that way. I don't know how she saw it that way. I was like, no, no, no. She talks about her own these girls as if they were experiments for a thesis or something like that. And I found out that she's actually crazy. And then she had a connection to the past as the little girl who would hang around Lucy. I was like, oh God, yo, that was something. That was really something. I don't know. It felt very eerie, and I was right to suspect her talaga from the beginning. Yun lang. So yeah.
I guess it was like her being the villain, if you can say, though she wasn't actually the villain of the story, but she kind of was. It was foreshadowed from the beginning. Like we kind of knew that okay, yeah, she would be the one who would do such things and stuff like that. Because when we read about how she was in a childhood, like she as a child would really cling to Lucy, it kind of made sense when the novel was ending and everything was just laid in front of you by the author and nothing was surprising anymore and we were not like, oh, what will happen now? Oh, how it will end and all. And it was just kind of all, it ended when, like, before the novel ended, the whole, when it was revealed that who actually Lockhart was, it just, the novel just, like, ended for me at that time. And I was like, okay, now I know what's gonna happen. And, like, yeah, that's all. So, yeah.
Yeah, I really didn't like her. Oh my gosh. Like, I don't know. I understand personal grudges and stuff like that. I understand that she was like super dependent on Lucy, but bruh, you're killing people who's
She
not
took it
doing
too far.
anything. Literally, these are
Exactly.
students. These are innocent people. Like the past novel, at the very least, she was killing like assholes who actually deserved it, right? Even if it's like a twisted form of justice. These were people who kind of deserved it. They were shit. They were shitty. But these were students. And not only that, you're moonlighting as a psychiatrist, as a psychologist. So you're supposed to be someone they trust, and then you're just offing them. Like, no. No, I hate you. I hope you die. So when she died at the end, I was like, good riddance. Bye. Because I was so angry at her. Like, even if she wasn't the villain, just the fact that she's so bad at her job, that was enough to make me root against her. I was like, no, I don't care about you. I hope something happens to you. Like, like she was just so bad. It was so obvious that she was bad at her job too. Like, I don't know why people were making excuses for her. Oh, sorry, what was that?
No, nothing. Go ahead.
But yeah, she was so bad at her job. And she was like steamrolling the other teacher. She just kept like disagreeing with their ideas, and like I hated her character so much. And when it was revealed in the end that she was actually the little girl from the past, I agree with Eva. It was like, oh, okay. We saw that coming. And any sort of tension from the book, for the last part, it lost any of the tension, any of the surprise, and then it wasn't even like well written. So I don't know, it's not writ. I mean, it could have been predictable, but also like written in a way that's compelling, and I didn't think it was compelling enough. It was just like meh. Like, it was just like the standard writing. There was nothing particularly interesting with how it ended. So I wasn't disappointed with the twist. I was disappointed more with like how it was written. But yeah, I hated Dr. Lockhart so much.
Yeah, I agree. She was just so like suspect right from the beginning. She like stuck out like a sore thumb or something. It was like right from the beginning. I'm like, I don't like you. You sound like you're hot, but I don't like you. Cause like I don't know. She was like being written as like this um icy like person, psychologist thing. And then like she wasn't an alumni, she wasn't called like a heart lake girl, right, an old girl. But yet she knows so much about like the history of Jane, and like the history of Heart Lake, and like what the students of Heart Lake, you know believe in, and like the rituals and stuff like that. So it was just like, why do you know so much about this? And yet she feels somehow so disconnected. So it was just she was so suspicious right from the beginning. And yeah, I also feel like right at the end, like her motives were just not convincing. And I don't know. It's like even in Jane's flashbacks, we only saw her as like the weird girl following Lucy and Deirdre and like Helen Chambers around. But, we didn't really see her connecting with them. So I guess that's also the reason why I didn't feel like her motives in the end were really good enough for her to become a serial killer. Like, not that I'm saying that any motives is good for you to be a serial killer. I'm just saying that it wasn't convincing. That like your motives were just like they're not really cool, you know. But yeah, so I guess that's Dr. Lockhart. But moving on to a character that I do really like, which is the policeman, Roy. I just gotta say, he just like I know he wasn't really that much of like a moving character in the story. You got like the story could have existed without him, to be honest. But I'm still glad that he's there because he was like a breath of sunshine whenever he was like in the story. So I really liked Roy. I like I don't know. He just sounds like a teddy bear guy. And I feel like, he's the perfect guy for Jane. Like, I hope he fixes whatever is happening with Jane because she needs help. Yeah.
I feel like I kind of disagree that he was unnecessary. I feel like he was the only person who was able to like extract the truth out from Jane, because I think he forced her to look at things in an objective way. I feel like without him we would still get Jane just completely gaslighting herself and being in denial. But he was like, from this angle I can see this and this and this, and then Jane was like, oh shit, you're right. Yeah, I'm remembering this wrong. I'm completely like changing the way my memories are, because I saw this happen, and I just made myself believe that it didn't. So I feel like he was useful in that sense. Like he he was I don't know, he actually cared and he was actually doing something
It's like
good,
he
because
grounded
usually,
her.
yeah, because usually police, like, they're depicted as, I don't know, incompetent. Like they're not actually doing anything in like books, and sometimes in movies, like they would show up when the action is
And in
already
real
done.
life,
Yeah. They would like the crime is done, like there's nothing else to do, and then that's the time they would show up. But I don't know, he was actually useful. So, and I liked him. I was rooting for them so much. And just from the beginning, like when that scene where Lucy and Deirdre were sort of pairing them off, and then Jane just got him, and uh she felt so insecure about it. She was like, oh, he doesn't want to be stuck with me and stuff like that. But then he was so sweet with her, and then they were cuddling in the cave, and I was like, I want that. Please. They're so cute. But yeah, I liked his character. I think like he was the straight man. Like I don't know, he was the most objective out of all of them. He didn't really have that much of a connection to Heartlake. That his only connection to it was Matt. So I think he was thinking a lot more clearly than any other adult, and that was why he was kind of that. I think that's why I liked him. He had a different and a more objective
he
perspective.
was the normal, the
Yeah. He
normal
was the
person.
normal. He was the only normal person there.
Yeah.
I'd have to. I would agree with you guys because where my memory ends, like really, like I can really see it clearly, is when he was introduced and we find out that he's the cousin. Well, yun ba yun? Siya ba yung cousin siya? Tapos, yeah, I think this, for once, the detective and the police force is a proper functioning, uh, proper functioning part of the story that pushes everything forward. I think it's only this guy though, because several times I think I do remember that there was a time that they did call the police during the first the first tragedies, but nothing really was pushed forward in the investigation. But this person actually was, I'd say, how did I call that person? They were the really good disinterested party that pushed everything forward. So I was thankful for his appearance for once. Yeah, that's all.
I guess he was the only one who was keen and interested in solving the case because we see the protagonist wasn't. She was still like clinging to her past and being attached to it in some way. So yeah, I guess he was the only one. And talking about Dr. Lockhart, I believe Dr. Lockhart was she really needed to fix herself before she became a psychologist, to be honest. Like, why? Like, she needs to heal her trauma and whatever has happened with her before she started this whole journey. And I don't understand how did she become a psychologist and why did the author think that she should be one? When we know clearly, we see that okay, she isn't right in her head. Like, who made her a psychologist? So I guess yeah, I this makes me lose trust in psychologists and counselors in school or even at like zonal places. I'm like, dude, if this is how she's gonna be or he's gonna be, I'm not going to one. No need to fix my trauma. How can I trust somebody when they are not like straight in their heads themselves? Like it was just so like made me question things. So yeah, like that's all.
Yeah, it's like if I were like Athena, I'd be like, you know what, Doc? Maybe you need some help. I would be psychoanalyzing her while she psychoanalyzed me. That's what would have happened right there. But yeah,
You know
Oh,
how they said in some part of the sorry, in some
no,
part of
sige.
the the story, nasabi nila that they hired Dr. Lockhart like without the proper channels, ganun ganon. That she was hired because si Dean was saying like she wanted to what do you call this, to accept her because she felt, or the the
She felt bad.
psychologist felt like Lakehart was, will always have a place for her there. I was like, yeah, no, that's kind of sus because being a psychologist in a school is such an important role, and here you are willy nilly, like willy nilly, like hiring people, and then in the last part they're just like, oh, she was crazy, she was using you. I was like, yeah, but like, yeah, but like,
You
still, there,
hired him.
you're yeah, right. Like, you're still the one who hired this person. And I like just to agree with Eva, like after reading that part, like this is somebody you should trust, like as a student yourself, and even especially when you're a teenager, when you're going through all of these confusing times in life, and then if the psychologist turns out like that, like there is no way I'm gonna step foot inside that. Like I have lost all faith. That there's no way I would have put myself in that situation. Oh my goodness. Oh yeah. What are you saying, Erica? You're going to say something pala.
Oh, I was gonna ask, like, I mean, after Dr. Lockhart, what did you think of the other person, Helen Chambers, the professor? Because I hated her as well. Like, I don't know. I don't care if this child is your child. I don't care. Treat people impartially. Don't be a bitch. Like, it was so obvious. Her favoritism was so obvious, and like, you're supposed to be a teacher. Maybe just tone it down a little bit. Like, she was inviting them for tea, like one on one. That's suspicious as fuck. That's not professional at all. Stop.
The kids really did put her on a pedestal, didn't they?
Mm,
Yeah, although from the way she teaches, though, according to Jane at least, that she was a brilliant person. It's just that, at least academically speaking, but in other parts of her person, it's just. I also like, wow, this they kind of, I think it was really like spot on, or not really spot on. Maybe there are parts of that are exaggerated, but the it's really dangerous to have young girls or young people look up to the to adults like these. Although it does happen, no, when you're growing up, you look up to people who you think are just amazing and stuff. And then to find out that they are actually they're not that good of
mm.
people. Yeah.
I think I think it's on the teacher to make the boundaries, but she was not making boundaries. She was like, okay,
Mm.
there's no line. There's no line at all. Let's go to tea. I'll take you to Italy. Like, like, you're supposed to be a teacher. This is insane. I like that Jane herself was like thrust in that role as well, where her students were sort of idolizing her as well to an extent, and she doesn't know how to deal with it. So I think it humanized teachers. Wait, no, not teachers. Like, that character type, because it's so prevalent in, like, in dark academia, like that one teacher that everyone loves, and everyone idolizes. I think it's a thing in the Secret History and in Dead Poet Society and things like that. And I really enjoyed that we got a perspective from the teacher who doesn't know what to do with this authority, and like, what where is the line, how much support can I give, and like, how can I actually help these students without, overstepping boundaries. um I think it's an interesting thing that I don't think the book discussed it that much. I feel, um like, most of her feelings were out of guilt, especially towards Athena. But I liked it. I would like to read more about that. Yeah, like from the teacher's perspective, where she's the one being idolized, and you know, yeah. But I hated Helen Chambers as well.
Yeah, I agree. But like right from the fact that, she I guess this is a spoiler for everyone, but right from the fact that, she gave up, like they had to pretend that Lucy wasn't her daughter, and like she was just willingly like, okay, I'll just like make my best friend drop out of college because she said so, that she said it was fine with her, so I'm just gonna give my baby to her and pretend that the baby was hers, which, it's just that's just really bad. Like I like, at some point, like, you'll understand if, like, she gives up the baby for adoption if she feels like she doesn't want to have the baby, or she doesn't, she can't care for the baby. But like, to like willingly allow your so-called best friend to just drop out of college and like forget like her whole future for your sake is pretty weird. It's wrong, to say the least. So yeah, I think though what's interesting was that it doesn't feel like the students, for Jane's sake, it's like it doesn't feel like the students were really idolizing Jane, more of like the idea of like a Latin teacher, because like these girls have like a weird obsession with Latin, which I can kind of understand, because I also like love classical languages, and do want to learn them as well. But like at a certain point, you also have to step back and realize that Latin is not a language that you're ever gonna use ever in the in the real world. But yeah, I don't know. It's just, yeah, Helen Chambers was just like the evil version, I guess, of like what the typical dark academic um teacher would be. Because like, even in Dead Poet Society, like the teacher that they idolized, like he was just like a very enthusiastic and just like had a different way of teaching, but like it was like kind of like the good way of like teaching poetry, because it would make you excited. But like Helen Chambers is like the opposite of that, and yet they still idolized her. So yeah, that was just interesting, and I still, yeah, really hate her. But yeah, I guess we can talk about like the more important part, which is the mystery, like the mystery in general, and like how it kind of wrapped up in the end. What did you guys think about that?
Should we do a summary for Q?
Oh yeah. Do we just
Yeah,
like
we're
tell
gonna
her the
spoil the
ending?
entire thing.
No, it's fine. Go ahead, guys.
What until what part were you like able to get to?
The last, everything came to light already. So for last I remembered reading was that Jane visited a place where sino yun? Si Lucy and Matt live, and everything was still intact, I think. Yeah, and then she remembered everything, and then she rushes back to the school, and then she finds one of her students nakuha na pala in the day. I think, oh my gosh, my memory's a little foggy right now, but yeah,
Wait,
we
do you
find out
know
that
about the incest?
shit, I think I blocked it out from my memory. Oh my god.
Yeah, but like,
Just help me
so
fill
what?
in the blanks na lang.
Okay, It's basically what happened is Lucy and Matt were lovers, but
Oh yeah.
but
Oh
they're
my god, kaya I knew. Oh god, there we go. Yeah, okay.
but they're not
Oh,
actually but they're not actually siblings, so like it's fine.
no, no.
No,
I
But they
tried.
did the
I
thing before
protest.
they knew. They did the thing before they
oh
knew.
yeah,
It's just, oh my god.
I protest.
they had the SEGGS. They had sex.
Yep. Also, what's with the whole May Day thing? May Day. I don't know.
Oh,
Yeah, the ritual thing was just sus as hell. I don't know what's going on anymore.
yeah. I think it was just like an excuse to get laid.
Speaking of which, yeah,
Yeah.
that one. See, yeah, that was the other thing. No, the girl, the other friend,
Oh
the
yeah.
friend
Deirdre.
that I don't know how to pronounce her name. I'm sorry. I just call her Miss Cole. Yeah, yeah. Just when as soon as that character was introduced, I was like, I'm gonna have a lot of trouble with this one. Because wow, if I had, I would honestly say like if I had a friend like that, I would just back away really slowly. She just found
It's like
every
a red
single
flag all
excuse.
over.
Yeah. Um, like I don't want to be mean or anything, and I'm not. I don't think. Yeah. It's just a personal thing, I guess. Is that if somebody around me just spoke so openly about that type of thing and not realize that they're making other people uncomfortable is wow.
Yeah.
No.
But I guess you're not really missing anything anymore because you already know pretty much the
Hmm.
whole story. So basically, in the end, they had like a whole ass brawl fist fight thing in the middle of the ice, which I have no idea. How the heck
What
do you ice skate while fighting? It's
Oh yes.
like these are all like figure skaters, I understand, but they're not hockey players. So how did
But
they
if
do
you isa
that?
na dulas, if we're talking in a realistic sense, yung isa talaga nadulas dyan eh.
Yeah, I think like
Oh,
the whole when like talking about the mystery, I think the story itself is really good. I feel like the execution was just not as great because I predicted kind of like the ending like in like almost in the middle of the story, past the middle of the story. So I was just reading for the sake of knowing what happens, how it ends, and then like it like the whole revelation part only happened like the last 5% of the book, and like it sort of like floods you with information all at
yeah,
once.
yeah.
And like these information could have been gotten right from the beginning, like if Dean Buell had just like said that, oh, by the way, Dr. Lockhart, who has been working us with us for a while now, um is actually Albie. She could have said that. It must have like come up in like some kind of conversation before in the past, right? It should have,
Ah,
but yet it
but
didn't.
no,
Conveniently, it did not. So
but no,
it
they
was,
actually revealed
yeah.
it to us by name, I think. They're just like, oh, I thought you would know because Candace means
Yeah.
this and this and that. And I was like, what?
Like even like to us readers, like we didn't know how Albie would have come from Lockhart, but also like what? You expect us?
You're like, I thought you knew because you're like a Latin teacher. I was like, that doesn't mean anything.
She's not gonna think that deep into it, you know?
Like
Mm.
this is not like it's not that deep. Why are we doing this? Also,
Yeah,
that thing at the ending, I did read part of the ending, and apparently, um, our main character is the granddaughter.
oh yeah, that one.
Yeah,
That's like a
wasn't that?
whole other
Yeah.
can of worms.
I just thought like that was the ending.
Yeah, it's so I hated that. It felt like a
Like
it felt like something from a telenovela.
no, I
Yeah.
really did think that last bit was out of the like it came out of nowhere for me. It's like, woo, there we go. She's the granddaughter of so and so, Iris, right?
Yeah,
Mm.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, that she was the granddaughter of Iris. Like, hmm,
That's what I feel like I would like be more interested maybe in reading like the story of the three sisters in the past. I feel like that would have been like an interesting story to see how exactly like what exactly happened at that time. I feel like that's something that would have been more interesting, but I guess that wouldn't be dark academia anymore. But yeah, I think I would be more
Korean
interested
drama.
in reading that story. Yeah, it'll be like a rich rich people
Rich
drama.
people problems.
Yeah, like the ending was just so underwhelming. It was like the whole story was like this, and then climax, and then it's done.
Just wrote book.
Yeah.
So, what did you guys like about the book, diba? Like as a whole, and would you
I like
recommend
the
it?
story. I like the story. I mean, like just thinking about the story, not like how it was written out. I like the story of like what was happening, ganon. Um, but I don't think I would really recommend it to anyone. Maybe if like someone wants like just vibes, like
Just vibes.
if someone's looking for the just vibes, Dark Academia just vibes, because this has all the vibes. But yeah, I wouldn't really recommend it other than that.
Yeah, I agree. In like on in theory, the story is like really interesting. Like I don't even mind how cliche the twists are. Um, I don't I didn't really care that I was predicting all of the things. I think the problem really was that the pacing was really I just it was so draggy and it felt like an attempt to to make it more mysterious, kind of like that. Like it was trying to hold off information by making it so long, and like it doesn't and like it didn't work. It just made it so much more boring. Like if it was a little bit more fast paced, like the writing was a little less descriptive. Ayun, I don't know. It might have fixed it. I'm not sure, but basta it was very draggy. Pero I like the story. I like being correct when I predict something. I like that. I like it when I'm correct, and I was correct for like 80% of this, so it made me feel very good.
Valid.
Um, yeah, it made me feel smart.
Because
Um, again, I don't know if I would recommend. I think if I recommended it, I would say read it fast. Like don't because when you read it, you kind of want to, ano yun, namnamin mo yung words because it's so pretty. But like, don't pay attention to that. Read it as fast as you can. Like, because when I started, I was approaching it as like, oh wow, this is something that I have to, kind of relish every single page, every single chapter. And then I realized really soon that that was
Too
not
much
gonna work.
relishing.
Yeah. Like if I do that, I'm not gonna be able to finish it because it's so long and like nothing's happening really. So if you do read it for the vibes and then read it as fast as you can. don't don't relish the words. Don't you're still gonna feel the vibes even if you speed read. So yeah. So if you want the dark academia vibes, if you want I wouldn't call it a cozy mystery, but like if you want some mystery with like really familiar, I don't know. I think the twists were familiar. They really felt like something na mapapanood mo sa prime time. Like yung wildflower, yung mga ganon. Like sa wildflower, kadena ginto. Like it was something off of those things eh. So if you want something that has those vibes, but make it dark academia, read this one.
read this one.
Yeah. I think
And on
like the
my
author the author was trying to do what the author of They Never Learn did really well. Like in They Never Learn, it was like it felt like it was like two timelines going at the same time, right? But like in this one, the flashbacks were just too long. Like
Mhm.
the flashbacks, it was like, and then like when you return from the flashback, suddenly I forgot that this is where we left off before we went to the flashback. So
yeah.
yeah, I feel like if they did what Lane Fargo did in They Never Learn, where it was like two timelines happening at the same time, it might have worked better. So yeah, that's what I think.
It might be quite lengthy too, given how Jane just goes on and on and on and on and on. Yeah,
True.
actually, I agree
Yeah.
with you. I agree with you guys. I actually like the story, especially the beginning, because I do enjoy descriptive writing. Uh, However, since I had an inkling, like from the very beginning, we knew it was a mystery thing. And I think it's second nature to me already. Every time I read something that's mystery, that I would actually pick apart the details because I'm afraid I'd miss something. And as Erica found out also, apparently, um, majority of it is not relevant to the mystery, especially the way Jane does her monologues. It was nice, but too wordy for a mystery, and yeah, freaking long flashbacks. And sometimes I was like hoping, I was like saying like, if this was a little bit earlier in the story, it would make sense. But why are we just remembering it now? Well, I recommend this. Again, for the vibes lang. If you want to catch a vibe, go ahead. And and yeah, definitely speed read. Definitely speed read because there's a lot of flowery language, but you wouldn't really need it. Yun lang. What's your ratings, guys?
Oh, mababa yung rating ni Nix.
Yeah, at first I gave it like a solid 3 stars because I was like, like I said, I liked the story, but then I just couldn't get past like the like how draggy it was and like the pacing of the story. So I was just like, I'll remove 2 stars from that. But then I started thinking more about it and like realizing that there was so much more that I didn't like. So I just gave it 2.75 stars,
Oh gosh.
which in Goodreads you'll still see that it's 3 stars. So I guess
Mm.
it's not three, but it's 2.75 for me.
I gave it, like, my personal thing is 3.5 because I did enjoy it. I think the fact that I speed read it really helped my enjoyment. But I on Goodreads it's only 3 because I couldn't bring myself to put it at 4 because I don't think it's at 4 and I don't think it deserves to show 4 stars on my Goodread page. So it's only at 3, but my actual rating is 3.5. I just rounded it down, which is like not what I do. Usually when I give 3.5, I will round it up no matter what, but it didn't feel like a round up. It felt like a round down. So ayan, 3.
I'd also say a solid 3 because while I enjoy the atmosphere and the feel, it was draggy as heck, and I and as a reader who relies on her mood dictate what I read, yeah, that didn't help, but yeah, it was overall a good read, and I'm glad that it was recommended to us this month. Yep. So, anything else to add, guys? Our inner Eva is gone. Hi, Moon.
Hi.
Hi. So, are you done?
I think
I think you're done,
so.
right? Yeah. So, that was very interesting, actually. I really love hearing your thoughts, and that's really, really amazing. And I don't know if I'm going to continue reading this book
You
because of the
already know
things.
everything.
Yeah. So, but this discussion is actually very interesting, and thank you so much, guys, for actually joining this live show. I was not able to catch. Where is Eva?
I think something's wrong with her, no, with her signal.
Yeah, there's something wrong with
Yeah.
Oh,
her.
oh, okay.
I'll ask her later.
Oh, okay. So I think that's it for today's live show, right? Thank you so much, guys, for again joining. And also, the next live show will be we're going to read Ace of Spades, and it is actually hosted by Ati Ina from Ina the Mood Reader. And yes, I'm going to post as well the details in our Instagram. We actually already have like a date for that. So tune in, and we'll see you in the next live show. Thank you so much for watching.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.